All right, Frank, you give it to me.
Ruler School is brought to you by Happy Little Hug Factory and these amazing patrons. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will to the Teacher's Lounge, your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast featuring myself, as always, and Ryan Miles. Brandon Bremont.
That's underwhelming.
And Frank Kloster.
I never get to do anything cool because you do both of them in sequence, and then they just blow it.
It's always Ryan does something, I like mimic it slash like I'll do the opposite.
I was gonna do the whole,
and then Frank does whatever Frank does.
Yeah,
it's always our sequence.
As always, please tell me if the audio is good. We do have some background music for people in the stream, so if I need to turn it down, just let me know.
Background music,
and as
fancy.
always, thank you guys so much for joining us. We are supported by Happy Little Hug Factory, and if you like what we do and want to support what we do, you can join us on Patreon, links down below, as well as our Discord, where you can join us in the comment, and you can also pledge to be a member here on YouTube, where you can get access to cool emojis like Ryan Miles will no doubt be spamming in the chat any minute.
Force of Will. I forget. Oh yeah, it's like a semicolon. Force of Will praise. There we go.
So if you guys want to support the channel, it goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. Also helps us get to being able to. Our main goal right now is to get to a certain funding level so that we can start doing monthly giveaways to people who are supporters. So I'd love to be able to help you guys, or love to be able to give back to you guys in that way. So, but tonight it's going to be a little bit of a shorter discussion and a little bit of a longer game, because Brandon has put in a ton of work for our first ever feud, which I'm very excited about. But
hopefully it goes well.
Today we're going to be talking about a topic that we have brought up multiple times on the channel but never really diving into, and that's the idea of what does it mean to be a conservative, and I don't really know what the alternative would be in this context, but like
liberal.
A liberal, yeah.
It would be a liberal. I didn't know if it would be the same kind of thing, but a conservative versus a liberal player. Frank, this is a topic that you have frequently brought to us, so I thought maybe you would kind of kick us off.
So this one's a little bit more like abstract than some of the other topics we've covered, but the idea is basically that, like, I guess, to take a step back real quick, let me explain what I say, what I mean when I say that someone is conservative versus liberal. So this is going back to the like base sort of meanings behind those terms, which is a conservative person is generally a very risk averse person. This is someone who is not inherently not like accepting change, but is going to want change to be shown to be an improvement before they risk, current success. And a liberal person is someone who is willing to try new things or wild things, so to try and improve things quickly. And they're just naturally more like, I guess, I can't think of the opposite of averse for whatever reason, but risk appetite. So like
risk pursuant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So in this case, and the reason this topic originally came up was because at one point I called Brandon a conservative card player, and he got really confused in chat at all of us. But the reason I mention this is because when you and obviously everyone's heard some of this as we're talking, like he naturally encourages, you should play what the known best deck is. He's very open about what he thinks is the best, because in his mind, the best deck is simply going to be able to handle even other people knowing about it. And so he should be there. He should be playing the most up-to-date version of the best deck. And you'll even hear it in like some of the lines of play he describes, where he focuses more on like lines of play that cut off possible outs. Whereas the opposite is someone who, like, say, a good example of this would be Victor Harris, for anyone who knows him. A few, I guess, half a year back now, we had a meta where we predicted that everyone would be low on graveyard hate. Like at the time, we just thought that everyone was going to naturally be low on it, and we had access to the Umer combo, and so like without the graveyard hate, we're like, well, that takes it, like, with that and with a couple other pieces of interaction covered, like this deck could just sort of catch everyone out of nowhere. It's a deck that inherently, if everyone is prepared for it, has no chance. But because we thought that we had this chance, we were like, if we take this risk, there's a chance that you just get to play what is, when unchecked, and like just a game-winning strategy all the time. and he got really close at that event. Like this was right after the bans, and everyone, like, some people were thinking that Scheherazade might have gone back down some, and other decks might be playable. Before we realized that was just simply untrue. But like at the time, like the risk paid off for him. But this also comes back in some events where he'll try something a little crazier and it just doesn't pay off. He has more. So like he's the type of player where you'll see him like be a lot higher and lower, depending on like how good of a call he makes, or like how much he's managed to find something. That makes sense to everyone?
Yeah.
More or less.
I understand what you're saying.
And so I would argue that based on the different metas, that there are certain environments, there are certain environments in our history of Force of Will that have actually rewarded one play style over the other, and it's gone back and forth. Frank, you're a little out of focus. There we go. You're back. That it's kind of
I gotta blur up more then.
that it's kind of tilted back and forth. Also, quick shout out to David Hartley joining us in the chat. Welcome, David. Good to see you back, buddy. But there have definitely been formats that have rewarded one side versus the other, and I think that it naturally is kind of favored in, like, even in the course of a single format. Correct me if you disagree, but like in the beginning of a format, being willing to take those risks, being willing to kind of push the limits of risk versus reward has a higher chance, I think, of paying off, as opposed to towards the end of a format when things are definitely more established. Jeremiah Polk, a former member of Team Ogre, along with myself, would always say, once a problem is identified, it's better to be the problem than try to answer the problem. And I think that also kind of speaks to this. It's that idea of like wanting to be the change versus stick to something that's like the more safe, more secure option.
Well, like even for an individual starting format, it's not as simple as like, at the beginning, the format's a little unknown. It's better to be, this is the chance for risk. It, depending on the person, it's going to present different ways. If we have just rotated and like it's very unknown, like no one can predict, the conservative line of play is to play something that's very proactive, that is known, and thus will win a lot of games by punishing people who stumble. So like, if we've just rotated, things are unknown, and like no one's quite sure if any of these mid-range decks have what it is to take, and so you take a Keurig deck and you just go, Keurig is reliable, he puts on pressure early, and he just does his own thing, and wins games sometimes. And like that's sort of the conservative line there, whereas like the crazy line is like, the wildly liberal line is to be like, okay, we can sort of see that these cards, and these cards are good. Predict that, some of this is roughly what the metal will look like, and try and get something that will beat out all of that. Right.
Brandon, what were you saying?
So Ryan, you're in a team chat with me, right? How many bad decks a day do I put in the ARG team chat?
At least one per day, sometimes more, especially on weekends. Yeah.
Like actually downright atrocious decks that are just like, this came to me in a fever dream. Like is there anything here? Like I didn't want to talk about this. So like I think that it's also a trend. Like you don't have to just be like, I will play the best deck until someone shows me a better deck in the arena, and then I'll play that instead. And like that's the conservative idea. Like I actually start formats according to Frank's definition. You're like relatively liberal. Like I actually try crazy things at first, and then I only play the best deck when GPs come. And I don't really know if that's like a controversial like way of approaching it. Like you should play the deck with the highest win rate. I think that's like exactly.
It's being the problem.
Rather, that's being a competitive player, is like playing the deck you think that has the highest win rate. I tend to think decks that have already done well will have the highest win rate, just because this is Force of Will, and like the general populace does not really react to metas like very well. Like just as a community, we tend not to. Like maybe if like, because Witch was good, there were going to be 30 quick cast Hanzos in Florida, then that changes things. But there was only one, and so like Witch was still the best deck, and like even going into it. And by the way, I approach formats with an overall win rate percentage. Some people think about like what's the most likely deck to win, and that might not always necessarily be the deck with the highest win rate. Like things like quick cast Hanzo. I actually like think in hindsight probably had a lower total win percentage than Witch, but it had a very high chance to win because in top 8 you're going to go against a lot of Witches, and whether or not that's true is obviously out of the question. But I just like to do as well as possible in events, and so that's why I was on Witch, and like Ryan was on something like Quickcast Hanzo, because he didn't really care whether or not he topped. Like he just wants to win another event, and so Quickcast Hanzo is a better deck for him. I don't know if that's really relevant to what we're talking about, but like when Frank is talking about this, I think of the difference between playing Witch and Quickcast Hanzo as the difference between conservative play, like Witch is clearly the best deck, versus Hanzo being the liberal deck. This will beat most Witches and most other things.
Oh yeah, I think I can agree with that too. I will speak to way back in the first format, the first green-red Prisia format, where
it's like a year
kind
ago.
Well, it's long enough.
Was it really?
No, it's 2 years ago actually.
Yeah.
No, listen to me. It is way back.
I remember the weeks leading up to Montreal GP, and it was Montreal and California were the same weekends. And I in general would argue that when it comes to competitive mindedness, I think this weekend really pushed me towards being the safe player as opposed to the brewer, just because of my experience. But we were getting ready and testing and everything else, and we had clearly identified that we thought Spinning Myths Izanagi was like the combo to beat. Like this was the thing that was going to be a powerhouse for so many things in the format. It was going to be this really big thing. And then raise his volume. Who are you talking about for his?
You.
Me?
How about
My
you?
volume?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I can be louder. How about that? Is that a little better? Hopefully.
We'll find out in 30 seconds when
We'll
they catch
find
up.
out as soon as they tell us. So I remember we were talking about Spinning Myths Izanagi, and we were like, that's the big thing. And we were like, what's the fastest way to be able to make sure that we get to torrent with it? Oh, clearly the best thing to torrent with it is Regalia. So clearly we need to be playing Valentina, like it's Val 2. So like that was what we needed to be doing and everything else. And then Jeremiah was like, guys, I have this really risky biscuit, which is Prisia Myths. You should play it. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I mean, it's the same kind of thing that I'm doing, but it's Prisia, and I can see where it could be super successful, and you still get access to the Oops OTK, all these other things. But in my conservative brain, I was like, I don't have enough time to practice it. It still feels like a big risk. I'm only going to get to go to a few GPs this season, and I'm spending money to be able to go to this one. Like, I want to go with something safer, and I totally was wrong. Like, that was absolutely the wrong choice, because I think I've even talked to you, Ryan, about this, how if I had showed up to Prisia Myths, I would have clapped that event. Like, there was nothing at that Montreal event that Prisia Myths would have lost to.
I mean, was it Jeremiah's Prisia Myths, or like the later refined? Okay, like that wasn't the best deck in format, but like the later refined.
But like for
when no
that,
one saw it
for
coming,
that
it was pretty
event,
good, yeah.
for that event, that risk would have been insanely rewarded. And
to be fair, it did top 8 that event because Dylan Hunt was playing it, but he ended up losing to AJ in top 8, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but
he was the only person there playing it.
But like that to me, I think revealed in myself my own play style of like I am the more conservative player, and I think I enjoy myself more and have more tournament success when I do that, which is like Jeremiah always said, it's better to be the problem, and I think that was successful for me.
Well, so this sounds like it's fairly like, I guess, like esoteric, and then it's like, oh, this is like sort of like looking at things from the outside and doesn't affect your line of really like there. If you really keep this in mind, there are things you can do to like improve yourself and improve others, like keeping this in mind. So like one of them is like an easy example for me is that like I tend to try and play fairly wild things. I will get a bunch of things I get attached to, or I'll see like things that I think have gone like under the radar for so long, and I want to try them out. But this naturally leads me to every once in a while just having like a lot of bloat, or like something that's so wild it just it doesn't have a good solid chance. And so I will generally surround myself with or bounce myself off of someone who I see is more like stable, so that I can like sort of move towards like rather than being like, oh, here's this complete curveball that's like either going to do like super high or super low, it's like, okay, let's get it batting a little more in the middle, And so I can get some of the reward from trying something different and like maybe playing something that is unprepared for, but also not like just like walk out with leaving obvious value on the table. An example I would give for this is in the lead up to Denver. I was bouncing ideas off of both my team and then Brandon. And so like obviously I ended up on Scheherazade because that was the stable thing to do at the time. But I was like utilizing a bunch of cards I'd gotten from just various testing at the time, and so I had a slightly different list that I was still very happy with, and I think I got a lot of mileage out of some of the basically it was the white cards I had in the deck, and the Gil Lapises that I had in the deck, like some things that I think like got me a lot of gain, but also would not have been enough to take things on their own had I not had someone balancing me out and saying like, okay, but don't leave behind just like the straight always good thing to just play these wild things that are good at the moment but don't have a good shell around them.
You know, I actually think that there is this breed of player that thinks that they need to get some kind of edge through playing like random garbage like out of decks like and I don't think that's true. Like, especially the player what's so funny is the type of player that thinks that is often the player that's probably good enough to do well just playing the best deck. Like this game is not like super fiercely competitive. It's like Victor Harris is a great example of this where he messages me before GPs sometimes with like deck ideas like I'm gonna play this like really spicy jank, and I'm like, Victor, you're a good player. You're going to do so much better if you just play like the best deck. And he just never does. He just always shows up with garbage and sometimes gets there and sometimes doesn't. And I just like, he's exactly the kind of player that I wish was just a little bit more conservative. Like just play the best deck, my dude. And like, and that applies to, I'm calling him out only because you just specifically mentioned him, but there's like many players that fall in this range of like, just you're like you need to get over this mental block where you think like, oh, I'm gonna next level the meta. Like this game, the players don't react that fast. The game is like not that fiercely competitive. Just play the best deck. I promise that's always the best answer. And I've preached this like 4 times on this podcast. But like I just want to say it one more time. Just play the best deck. Like seriously, it's the highest way. It's the best deck for a reason.
Before I defend the liberal play style, shout out to Derek in the chat because he's pretty good, but he always plays like Red Scheherazade or some Lucifer deck in a TSW meta. Then he finally plays DSW in Orlando and he's playing like the Gil Lapis Resonator, like it's still Scheherazade meta. And anyway, so I think that I'm a fairly good player when it comes to Force Will, but I am like crack cocaine addicted to just not playing the deck that I'm supposed to. Like, I played Time Spinning Witch because it like was still like I played Time Spinning Witch in Minnesota because it was still like up for debate what was going to be the meta, and like in my mind I'm like, this deck is insane, like nobody can really do anything about it. Like people think Gil's going to be the best deck, but really like I think this deck beats it. So I played Time Spinning Witch and I was like, oh yeah, that's the best deck. All right, well now that I got it in my system, I just don't want to play that deck anymore. So that was like my main driving factor for not playing it in Orlando, was I really just didn't want to play the deck again because now it had become the meta. And I'm just not. At all times, I'm not interested in playing the meta. Like,
okay, but also, if you like remove yourself from this equation, is there any like part of it where it's like if you already have your Worlds invite, there is just so much less on the line?
That's
like, let's
true.
be
like,
real
for the
for a second.
Scheherazade meta, I jammed Scheherazade all the time, and I hated it. But I spent like every waking hour trying to beat
the concept of risk.
Right, sure, but like when I got back from Mexico after getting my paid, I played Green Dragon in freaking Denver, like literally when after you get your paid, your risk just plummets, and then you start to look like a liberal player.
I agree,
despite the fact that I am the exact opposite of you. The first time I
wait a minute,
I didn't
Frank
play
played Cherry
after
he got his
time until after I had a paid invite.
Yep.
And then you play the best deck. Well, who knows? Who knows?
So, like,
no, okay. I will say.
I'm not sorry. Go ahead. Go first, Ryan.
I will say that you are right. Like I was playtesting with Quick Casanzo. Like we like started like really seriously like finalizing that deck on like the Wednesday before the GP, and I'm like, fuck it, I was gonna play it. But like I was telling all of my teammates, and if I was actually trying to win that event, I 100% would have played Time Spinning Witch because I do believe it was just the best deck of time, and it even had like the best Time Spinning Witch mirror. Like you just build Time Spinning Witch to beat Time Spinning Witch, and boom, you have the best deck of the format. It was like my opinion. It just so happened that Quick Casanzo with a lot of value, but like honestly, like he is correct. Like I was kind of smurfing the event, but like I still really like not playing the meta because I do think that like while I am a good player, there is like an upper echelon to skill, and like a lot of players are very close to that upper echelon. So I don't want to be in a mirror match where I'm playing somebody equally skilled as me, because then the matchup becomes a coin flip. I'd rather do something or find some advantage through my deck building, because that's personally where I feel I am most skilled, and because I think that will give me a higher percentage in the matchups where I am playing against someone who I do respect and is as good as me. So that's why I do think that I gravitate more towards those wonky builds or those like crazy variants, because you can't really realistically expect to beat someone that is as good as you and playing a similar deck.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can agree with that. It does push yourself more to being in a coin flip situation, so there is some advantage to that. Real quick before we go any further into this, or maybe there's not much more to talk about in terms of this content. There has been a lot of comments in the chat in regards to Table Flip Sandstorm.
Oh boy, we need to talk about it.
Specifically, well, let me preface this, and specifically calling out how broken it is, or specifically kind of calling out our assessment of table flip before the Sandstorm situation came to light, and how people were saying like, oh, it becomes play table flip in Sandstorm or bust, or like, oh, green is the most OP thing again, and you guys didn't think it was that. Ultimately, we are allowed to have our opinion, and that we said what it is, but here's what we'll say. Here's what I will say. I stand by our statement as a group of 4 saying that, yes, table flip is strong, but ultimately by itself it was not like this over-explosively broken thing that we were too worried about. Now, the Sandstorm situation came up after we had said that, which posed a not intended design error that caused some great risk to the format. For those of you who don't understand or haven't seen what Table Flip Sandstorm is supposed to
turn yourself up a little bit again, Jeremy, just by the way.
Turn yourself
up a little bit, yeah.
Sure. So if people don't really understand what Table Flip Sandstorm was supposed to be, it was this idea that you are you sandstorm your opponent, say they have 4 resonators on board, and then you table flip your own sandstorm. And so what it would do is it would see each packet of 200 damage as a different packet to be canceled by sandstorm, thus dealing 2,000 damage to your opponent. And the idea being that green, the color that has the best defense to protect a table flip, now also has table flip for a massive amount of burn for 1 green, was a problem. We all identified that that was a problem and admitted that that was something that needed to be addressed. However, I do not think that that statement, that situation that came across it, should change how we actually viewed table flip itself as a card, because what we're already seeing happen is that the company acknowledged that this was an unintentional design flaw of how table flip was designed, and they were going to fix it. And we've already heard from Jeff that it's been fixed. We're just waiting for the confirmation about exactly how that's happening from the company. So,
cool.
Yes, it has been a problem. It was an unintentional created problem. It's not going to be an actual thing. So, like, we can move on from that.
We're good, everyone. You heard it here first. This is the Forceful News podcast that gets it to you where you need it.
Said, I mean, even him saying, like, he said it, Jeff has said it publicly, that, like, he talked to the company, they are fixing it. It is not, it was an unintentional consequence, and it was going to be addressed. Ta-da.
It is silly that, like, the errata came out, and then, like, it didn't fix the problem, but, like...
I think that was just very unlucky. Like, it was just a coincidence, like...
The way that the card was originally worded, like, table flip didn't actually do any damage because it prevented the damage and then attempted to replace. So they had to already fix that and, like, knew that when they were, like, writing that post to get the erratas out. And, like, I don't even know, like, what kind of signing stuff you need to do to errata it. But, like, the sandstorm interaction should be fixed. And, like you're saying, Jeff has said it will be. Don't know what the fix is going to be. Hopefully it's not, like, impacting it any other way whatsoever. But, like, stop worrying about it. And, like, outside of that, table flip was, like, not as good as miscalculation. So
strong but not OP, which is what we said when we first saw the card.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I just wanted to make sure, like, that was coming up a lot in the chat, and so I just kind of wanted to address it here. Frank, did you have anything kind of else to say about this conservative versus liberal, or things that we can learn from, or maybe the importance of learning maybe what style of player you are?
Yeah, and, like, part of this is going to be because, like, part of the reason I brought this up is because it, like, I don't have any other good words to describe the 2 types of player, and they're sort of weighted words. Like, the first time I said this, Brandon had a naturally strong reaction to the fact that I'd called him that, because that word was very weighted in his mind, and that sort of happens. But, like,
okay, well, I was also partially kidding. Let's be fair.
To be fair, his name in the Teacher's Lounge group chat is still Brandon Trump, I believe. So
you're not wrong. But, like, what I'm getting at is that, like, it is important to sort of be honest with yourself, because, well, I do think Brandon is right in a lot of cases. There's also been plenty of times where I've seen him pick up some, like, little bits of wild stuff from other people to like sort of improve his very stable base. And so like there's like with a lot of things, there's sort of a middle point where you're going to get the most value from things. And if you are honest with yourself and see where you are, you can sort of balance yourself out with other people and other influences to get yourself towards a good middle point.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
So, I mean, like, are you saying that, like, there exists a breed of conservative that is just thinks that they have the best deck and then absolutely never fluctuates from it? Like, I think anyone that knows me very well knows that I always lock in my deck, like, literally the night before because I'm always changing up at the last second.
That's very true. Including Brandon the night before telling me that he needs cards, and then I show up the next morning and he goes, "No, I don't need those anymore."
Oh, sometimes it's like the hour before. Don't you worry.
Sometimes the tournament has already started and he's still driving to the event, and then he picks up the cards when he gets there.
That's right.
That has also been a case of what has happened.
Breakfast the morning of Worlds, we're all like sitting down, we're filling out lists because like they've already given us the deck list to actually write out, and he's like, and I'm just showing him the stuff, and he's like, "Oh, this." And just
yeah, Frank changed my World's deck list the day before or the hour before.
Not the hour before. In the process of you writing the deck list.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
You had your deck list for Worlds as soon as like we had the full set. You're just like, Hanzo machines.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're done here.
But like the fun thing about Hanzo machines was there was like 4 cards you could change, and I like rotated between those for like how many what's the 4-drop fucking Percival. Like how many Percivals you're playing could be anywhere from 0 to 4, and then like I kept changing that number. So the correct answer was 0.
With that being said,
I believe that.
It's time to have a feud. So
oh boy.
So Brandon's going to get everything set up. We're going to see Brandon really big, and I'm going to add some score boxes here for everybody to see.
I don't know if I'm excited or
Give me a second. Everybody.
Great.
This is Ryan. I have to try to add a like backdrop to it. I apologize, everyone.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep,
yes, we can still hear you just fine.
All right, perfect. So you guys are going to get to see my like browser nonsense because I can't make this full screen and edit it. So my bad for that, but hopefully you'll still get the full effect here.
So we're going to put some scores up here at the top, and it's time for some Family Feud.
Jeremy can probably actually like change the section to only be the.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. They can only see your screen.
Sure. But like you can still see like the my tabs.
Yes, I can still see all of the tabs and stuff.
Are you able to edit that at all? If
it would be difficult to do right now.
Okay.
Right now I'm working on getting the scores
low
at the
tech,
top.
but that's okay. That's all right.
So quick question from chat says, "Hey guys, if I play Athenia, blah blah blah, can my opponent respond with Bullet Ball Thunderclap and to use the monster they choose to banish at additional cost?"
I don't really know what you mean, but probably not.
I got it. Yeah, you can't banish the same resonator twice.
Correct.
No.
Prince a judge, you can explain.
So what would happen is you would resolve Bullet Ball Thunderclap, get its effect, and then you would have to then resolve Athenia's effect separately, which requires you to banish a resonator. Because it's not targeted, and because it doesn't require you to designate in advance which one you're doing, it's just an effect that says when it resolves, pay the piper. And
thanks, David.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
David had something in chat.
We have it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to quickly explain the rules here. The concept is very similar to Family Feud if you've seen that, but it's a little bit different since there's no families and there's no buzzer or anything like that.
Hey, we're a family.
What we're going to do is I will give you guys the category, and there will be. And I polled the Force Will community, and we got more responses than I thought we would. So when I post like a good meme in the US page, it usually gets like around 100 likes. So, and I figured like, oh, liking a status is easier than like filling out a 5-point questionnaire. So I imagine we'll probably get like 50 to 60 responses. We ended up getting 150 people respond to this.
This is beautiful.
So it was actually an incredibly decent turnout. I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, so what I've done is I've taken the top 5 responses for each question.
Okay.
And then taken that number of responses, divided it into 100, and then applied those points to each one. So for each question, there's 100 total points available. But like the first one might, the highest polled one might be worth like 27, and the lowest one might be like 15 or something like that.
So how are we doing this in terms of like player order.
All right, so the very first one is going to be random. We're going to randomly decide which of you goes first, and then we'll rotate through as the thing dictates, like Ryan, Jeremy, Frank, Ryan, Jeremy, Frank. Every round after the first, the lowest points person will go first.
Got it. Sounds good.
My
So
brain like really hurt there because you were saying Jeremy Frank and you weren't saying Franklin, and I was like, wait a minute, it's Jeremy Frank. No, wait, he's Frank. Oh, wait, that's what you meant. Sorry.
I literally didn't even realize that could be a problem, but I see what you mean. All right.
I was going crazy.
So after that, the lowest scoring person will always start the round.
Sure.
If you miss, if you guess a entry on a question and that is not one of the top 5, you will get a strike.
Sure.
If you have 2 strikes, you are out and you no longer guess, and we will skip your turn until it's done. When everyone has 2 strikes, I'll reveal the entirety of the top 5, or once it's all revealed, then we'll move on to the next round. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Understandable.
So randomize our first turn.
All right, so I have a D6 in front of me. 1, 2 is Ryan. 3, 4 is Jeremy. 5, 6 is Frank. I got a 1. Ryan starts us out.
Ryan starts us off. So it'll go Ryan, Jeremy, Frank.
Ryan's really good at rolling 1, so that was guaranteed.
There you go.
You didn't have a chance.
All right, you guys. So we pulled 156 Force of Will players and asked them,
were they all Force of Will players?
Theoretically, I suppose it's not necessarily guaranteed. Who is your favorite ruler? Jeremy or Ryan, give me a ruler you think is in the top 5 when asked this question.
Dark Alice.
Ryan's 22 points.
22 points. Nice.
Okay.
Add that in.
Okay, so keep in mind that there's 100 total points for each one. So 22 is pretty good.
Okay.
All right. After Ryan gets those points, we're on to Jeremy.
Yep, that has been added. Let's see. Favorite ruler.
Who is the Force of Wills community's favorite ruler?
Sylvia.
Sorry, Jeremy, that is 1 strike for you.
We gotta do the X's.
I'm working on it.
I could have seen Sylvia being top 5 though.
I was trying to go for like a safer top 5. I wasn't quite sure. I have an X.
Gotcha.
All right, Frank, give me a ruler.
I'm gonna do this my best Smash Brothers announcer voice. Kirik!
Man, you guys suck.
That was impressive, actually.
Very good, but Frank, that's next for you too.
Oh man,
wait a minute,
red players letting me down.
This was the U.S. group, right? Like these are North American players. Like they didn't want
this was posted in the U.S. group,
and also maybe Europe came in here and stole some of them. All right,
possible. So, I can't tell you.
Back to you, Ryan.
I've got 2 guesses, and I think they're both on top 5. I'm trying to think which one's worth more points. I'm gonna go with 0, the 6 Age of Light.
That's a very good guess, but sadly, that is also not on here.
Oh, jeez!
That could be number 1, actually. Didn't it win the freaking Valentine's Day poll? Like, isn't it on the ARG mat? No way. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
There you go. Alrighty, Jeremy, we're back to you. Come on.
My favorite ruler.
We're bad at this.
See, I think I'm distinguishing between like favorite girl and favorite ruler. I need to think. Just
it's gonna be favorite girl. Like this is Force of Will players.
I'm gonna go Lapis. Gil Lapis.
Gil Lapis is a very good guess and was our number 6 scorer. And that's your second strike.
I'm out.
Oh man. All right, Jeremy.
Get 1 person, and we're all gonna lose, dude. Oh no.
Oh, there's 5 questions. Don't you worry. All right, Frank, we're on to you.
I'm gonna guess Rhea.
Rhea is sadly also not on here.
God.
Oh wow.
Ryan, you get to run away with the board, man.
All right, Ryan, you can guess all 4 of them here and score 100 points.
Well, my other guess was gonna be Lumia, so we're gonna say Lumia.
Hey, there you go.
We got number 1.
That's number 1 at 28.
All right.
Well, you get to keep going, Ryan.
All right, Ryan, get them all. Clean sweep them.
Beef Sing.
And that's your second strike.
I should have said Prissy at first.
I'm actually shocked that you guys didn't get number 3. I thought that one was going to be easy.
Oh, duh. Oh, yeah, God.
Like, come on, this is Force of Will. Let's be real here.
A Valentina card. I lose the poll or whatever we've had.
I could have scored.
What were 4 and 5? Was Milliam one of them? Was Milliam one?
Apparently, we pulled a bunch of spiky tryhards because number 4 is Reflect Refrain.
Oh,
that was another guess. I was going for waifus before I went for Reflect.
Yeah, I know.
It's like be on there, but I thought
hold up, is the last one Abdul?
It's Prissy.
It's not that or Prisia, although
No
I'm
way.
actually not particularly surprised because I think I would have guessed the Xion.
Xion.
That's a pretty popular one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everyone loves Xion. Come on.
So right now it's Ryan at 50, Jeremy and Frank both at 0. So
alrighty, boys.
As I was next in line, I will go first in this next one since Frank and I are tied.
That sounds fair to me. All right, boys. Next, we pulled 156 Force of Will players and asked them, what is the most broken Force of Will card?
Oh,
Jeremy, start us off.
Oh my god.
Levitin the Demon Sword.
Yeah.
Levitin the Demon Sword is our #1 response at 33.
There
Only
you go.
33.
I'll
Wow,
take my 33
I was expecting
points.
above 50, to be honest.
That was a good guess. All right, Frank, on to you.
All right, I'm banking on their hatred. Lorite.
Frank, no!
No, Frank!
Lorite didn't make top 5, although it was our #6 entry.
Oh no.
Ryan?
Levitin. I'm trying to think if there's any, like, give me, like...
I mean, there's some very obvious ones.
Yeah,
there
no,
are a couple that are definitely on there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think which one's the most obvious. Oh, God. I'm just going to say Reflect Refrain. I should have said it last time. We're going to say it now.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Reflect Refrain's 20 points.
So,
Yeah.
it's a 70.
I was trying to think if there's anything above Reflect that, like, people hated, and I couldn't.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to...
to...
Frank, or Jeremy, sorry.
I'm back. I will say Otherworld Dreams.
Otherworld Dreams is our #5 entry, and it is worth 14 points.
I'll take it.
Wow.
So from up to 47.
Oh, no. I wasn't going to say Otherworld, so
I'm
now...
going to guess Scheherazade.
Yeah.
Frank.
No way.
Frank, my man.
No way. That was like 100% my next guess. Jesus Christ.
Jeez. You need to know the Force of Will community better, Frank. We're at 2
Ryan,
misses.
Ryan, you're up. Frank's out.
God. All right. It's either... All right, Severing wins?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an
Of
easy one.
course.
Yeah.
And then
All right, Jeremy, give me the
hit
last one.
Last one.
I've got like 2 in my mind. I don't know.
Final Battle.
That was one of them. Okay.
I'll take my X.
Distortion
I
of
get one
Time?
more.
Do we still hate that card?
Nope, Brian. Back to Jeremy.
Ryan has an X.
Those are both very good guesses.
Okay, so
Actually, Distortion of Time got 0 votes out of the 156.
I believe that because it's not of all time, so it's like, but it was. I thought people had in mind.
I'm gonna go with the red-green Prisia.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good. And is Prisia True Beastmaster
what I
for
should've
16 points.
Sweet, catching up. Up to
All right.
63, closing the gap.
We're looking at 87-63, and Frank at a miserly 0. But this next one is Frank's wheelhouse, so we'll give back to him on this one.
Yeah.
This is great.
All right.
Well, it is. Yeah.
We pulled 156 Force of Will players and asked them, what card from New Valhalla Cluster has the best artwork?
Ooh,
From the
that's
cluster?
good.
Okay,
From the
cluster.
from the cluster. So we're looking at New Dawn Rises and Strangers of New Valhalla cards only.
Oh God.
And we are starting with Frank.
Froppy, guide me.
Oh, I'm going to have to guess this one just because it has 2 arts, and both of them are phenomenal. So I'm going to guess Ophiel.
Frank.
Tragically,
Frank.
Ophiel's not. Frank, I need you to get 1 point.
Come on,
Oh.
Frank.
We
Ryan.
Like art in Force of Will.
Okay, do you remember how many times I actually won when it was simply audience poll and I provided answers?
That's fair.
It was like
That's
no
fair.
time.
Frank is not. Frank does not have a good track record.
I'm
of
next,
this.
right?
Yeah,
Not-
you're
not
next,
very
Ryan.
on the pulse of the community. Go ahead, A. You guys might get actually straight 0 of these. I'm just going to warn you right now.
Jesus Christ.
Some of them are
no.
obvious, but not all of them. Definitely
I'm
not.
just gonna say Mistletoe, the new white card.
Wow, very astute, Ryan. That is
Excellent.
number 2 at 22.
Perfect. I'll take 22. I don't know if I'm getting any more.
109.
but that's the
Okay.
card
Which
I
card
think-
from the Force of Will from the Valhalla cluster has the best artwork? And Misty was second at 22.
Am I allowed to look up the set right now? Or is that, I have to keep my hands on the table. Like,
I will say
what's the promos?
Anubis.
Anubis is a great guess and was our number 6 entry. But it's
I
not
keep hitting the
on
number
list.
6s. Man. Okay.
All right, Frank, give it to me. This time you got to get some points,
Oh, it
Frank. I
includes
believe in you.
rulers, I bet, doesn't it?
I mean, I know the answers I want to give, but I'm going to give something wilder. Ruined Earth.
No.
Ruined Earth. Frank, no, that's not on there.
Frank Frank has been eliminated yet again.
Frank, I love you, buddy.
I'm gonna guess Brunhild.
Nope.
Damn it.
Okay.
All right. This I knew this one would be the hardest. You guys, I'm glad that you guys got at least one of them.
Okay. Oh, Ryan is 109C. I typed the wrong thing. Let's see. Best artwork, according to the Forcible community, all of New Valhalla. Anubis came in at number 6. See, like, I want to go secret rares, but I feel like that's also... I also feel like that's wrong, outside of Misty.
I thought, like, I was going to guess Anubis if you didn't, so... So number 2 and number 6 have been secret rares.
Right.
What?
Number 2 and number 6 have been secret rares.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true.
I'm really... So it's like... Part of me is just saying, like, just go for it. I think I'm actually just going to do it. I'll go Karura.
Sorry, that is not on there, tragically. Yeah. All right, Ryan, can you run away with the board again?
Whirlwind Conflagration?
Nope.
Damn
okay,
guess,
well, there we go.
There.
Wow, we're really good at this, guys.
So number 1 is Athenia, Sealed God of the
Dang
Ruins.
it, I was going to say Athenia! Fuck, I just bit the wrong one! Gosh dang it, I'm so mad at myself.
I thought Mistletoe would have been higher than Athenia.
It was Karua or Athenia. That was it.
Yeah,
that was
so these two are 25 and 22 means that all of these were about 1 vote off from each other, so they're all pretty high. And then even Anubis was pretty high up there.
What else do we have?
Number 3 is a surprising entry. Dark Alice Doll got quite a few votes.
Oh yeah, well I mean the promo. You got to think the promo.
And I'm like, there's no way. That's like my.
I want to know. Every one of these cards has had multiple arts, you guys. I was spot on with the reason why I picked.
There you go. Well, actually, your pattern continues, Frank, because number 4 is Zulying, who has 2 arts as well. Sure, whatever. That Chinese word.
Oh, this is the red super rare from this.
That's the red secret.
Yeah, got a red secret. And then 5 is just the best artwork of all time, so I don't really understand why no one guessed Full, the Administrator of the Moon. But like that was like the art that was spoiled for New Dawn Rises, and remember we all said like, "Oh my God, it's gorgeous."
Oh
and,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
look it up.
That's the angel.
You don't have to look it up because I happened to put aside.
Oh wow! I forgot this card existed too.
Quick slideshow for you guys because I think that artists deserve artist credit.
Agreed,
so
100%.
I just want to really quickly go through all of the art I just mentioned. Here's number 1, Athenia.
Yep.
Number 2, Mistletoe. Number 3, Dark Alice Doll.
Yeah.
Number 4, however you say that name.
That was really good. Yeah.
And number 5, Full,
the Administrator of the Moon. Yeah, solid stuff.
Okay.
So now anyone who watches the video can
don't
also
take my head shake as me disliking Fool's art, but like I love me some angel art in card games, and this is not the best one in the set. I will fight all the people who voted for Fool. Find me.
Who voted for Fool?
They were fools for voting for Fool. Okay, question 4. Frank, you get to start us again.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Frank. You can tell me then. Who's the sexiest ruler?
Oh, jeez.
This question opened up some risk, but at least Frank will always get the number 1 answer for this one.
I mean, I have to say Valentina because it's not true to myself otherwise. Yeah. But I know what my second guess was because I was worried the rest of the community didn't share the same interests.
How many points am I giving Frank?
No, it's obviously Valentina at number 1 by a country. This is the highest number 1 of any of the questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there you go, Frank.
I want to know, Lachlan, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. If there's a husbando on here, I will be super stoked.
Ryan?
I mean, this is the part where I guess 0 and I'm right?
It is.
Okay. Dang it, that was my next choice.
23.
I should have saved my answer from before. I was
32. I don't know if I can catch up. Jeez.
I am in touch with the community.
Yeah, Ryan is just on that pulse.
Valentina.
There's no way Ryan's at over 1,000. Okay, there we go.
No, it's not. I mean, to continue with the waifus, I guess. Rhea?
Tragically not on here.
Number 6? Was it number 6 again?
Poor taste is not the number 6 entry. No.
Wow.
Okay.
I have a weird reason for guessing the next one. We've got no redheads on here so far. So Sylvia.
Sylvia was the number 6 entry, and she is not on there.
Ryan?
All right, so I learned my lesson from last one. Now I'm going to guess Shion.
Shion is surprisingly not on there. I don't know how she got number 1.
You cannot tell me 15 people told you that Shion was like their favorite ruler, and then don't vote for her here. This is
tragically they did not.
They changed their vote to 0.
I'll go with
vote to 0.
I will vote. I'll vote Isis for my second one.
Ooh,
that's a good guess. Not on there. Sorry.
Dang.
Wow.
I'm out.
All right, Frank, stay alive, please.
Lumia?
Yeah, you're on there.
Weird.
Good job. You got it.
People dig the heterochromia, sir.
I guess so.
I mean,
oh God, I'm on the.
All right.
Oh, ooh.
Ryan?
All right, Dark Alice again.
Nope. All right, Frank, now's your chance to run away with the board. I believe in you. 2 left.
The problem is I don't have a good, like, in my mind, this is the right answer, and I know my next answer is wrong. So I'm going to go with some artist tribute. I'm going to say Freyla, because Ishishio's art is great.
Yeah, tragically, Freyla is not.
Is Feasting on there? That was my other guess.
Negative.
Damn it. Okay.
All right, so this one really required some metagaming to get the whole board, but who do you think the Force of Will community voted as the number 4 sexiest ruler?
Is it Billy fucking Buttons?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Kyron's in like one of our group chats. Like, I'm saying Billy for all the answers. I'm like, all right, Kyron, if you can get it.
Are you next, Brandon?
I should have known. Oh, my God.
No, but apparently people liked Lumia so much that they put her twice. I'm rules number 5.
Oh, duh. Yeah,
that's
that
fair.
Makes sense.
That's fair. Ryan's just running away with this thing at over 100 points.
Man, this lead is almost no fun, but there's 100 points available on the next one, so even now, Ryan can be overcome.
And Frank still gets to go first.
The other 2 of you can tell me what the Force of Will community's favorite resonator race is.
Oof.
Wait, hold up. Who goes first, though?
You do.
That would be you, Frank.
This is Fairy Tail.
Fairy Tail is number 1 by a country mile at 35 points.
Yeah.
Well, and now I've stolen Jeremy's shot at surpassing Ryan.
I'm going to just concede so that Frank can maybe beat Ryan.
So that Frank can run away with the board and take that second place.
Ryan,
right,
go for it.
It's on you.
Yeah, it is.
Ryan,
you
get
real bad, Jeremy, when
I'm
I get
just gonna say
squad 7.
Machines is number 2. Good
wow.
job.
Well, and with that, Ryan wins.
I believe that is. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah,
there's no way.
42, 45, 45. Yeah, tragically, that is the case. Even if Frank got the rest of them. But let's play it out anyway.
Okay.
Jeremy, give me the
now
next
I can
one.
guess, I suppose.
Now Jeremy can beat Frank.
Dark
Elves.
Elves.
Now Jeremy can play for second. Wow,
Dark
you
Elves.
guys are just getting this right in order. Apparently, you guys know the community's favorite races. Goodness gracious! All right, Frank, if you guess number 4, that'll be awesome.
I mean, next I'm fairly certain is mermaids.
Tragic, and it is not. I apologize.
What
Dang
other
it!
races
Combo
are there?
breaker. What other races are there?
Yeah,
There are
I
a
was
couple.
like wrecking my brain. Like, there's Dark Elves and there's Machines.
Oh, I know what I should have guessed.
Elves? I don't know. I'm not gonna guess Elves. I'm just saying it out loud because I'm thinking about it. I really just can't think of another. Like,
We really just cannot come up with
I'm gonna
race.
say Elves, but I swear to God, if Sand is in the top 5, I'm gonna guess it.
Elf is not on there. Sorry.
All right.
All right, it was a good attempt.
I'll go Dragons.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Dragons is an interesting guess. We got 5 votes for Dragons, which was more than I thought we were going to get, but it did not make top 5.
And that is
Wow.
okay.
Do we have Knights of the Round?
Of course we do. Knights of the Round Table is 13 at number 5.
People like why.
All right, you all have 1 vote, 1 X, and we're back to Ryan.
All right. How much do people like Scheherazade?
Dolls? You thinking about going dolls?
I haven't said it out loud yet. Cthulhu.
What a fantastic guess as the number 6 answer, but it is tragically not on there.
Close. I swear to God, number 4 is Dolls. I'll be upset, but I don't think it is. I don't think people care. I think people are glad that Scheherazade is no longer there.
All right, Jeremy, this is your chance to claim second place.
Nope, Frank's ahead of me.
Never mind. Just kidding.
I come in last regardless.
This order is locked, but let's see who can get it here.
Let's see.
What? You get a redemption arc, you know?
There you go.
Yeah, this is my redemption arc. Fairy Tale, Machine, Dark Elf. Elves with what did we miss? We missed Elves and...
No, I said Elves. That was my first
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Elves was missed.
Oh, yeah.
I said Dragons was missed, and Cthulhu was missed. And then Frank missed Mermaids.
Yeah.
You haven't guessed Squad
Fuck it,
7,
Pandas.
Jeremy.
Pandas.
Of course, Pandas.
Hey, redemption!
I saw Angels in chat, and I was like, ooh, Angels definitely
Angel
good.
fall on this list? Because that was my next guess.
Yeah.
I don't recall where Angel falls. Let me pull up
I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Well done, Brandon.
That was good. I'm a fan.
Oh, good.
Final score, Ryan 150, myself 97 in third place, and Frank 101.
That's actually pretty close, I think.
Yeah, like pretty solid
one
spread.
First place answer and a second place answer ahead of you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done. Well,
yeah, and you guys, glad you guys got all of them on that race one. Was that the only one that you guys actually swept forward? I think so. Oh no, you swept broken cards too.
Yeah. We're pretty good at broken cards. We talk about them every week for 29 weeks in a row, so I mean...
You got 3 of them on Sexiest, you got 1 of them on Artwork, and I think you got 3 of them on Favorite Ruler. So pretty good overall. Good job.
We'll have some people telling us that we should do this again.
See, I would call me out on Artwork, but my tastes in Artwork are not the same as the community, dude.
Yeah. Turn back to myself.
I would be down to do this again.
Maybe not slightly shittier.
Maybe not
week. It's like a once a month
back
thing,
to back. I think this could easily be a once a month thing.
The problem is that I feel like if I post that poll again like immediately in a week, I probably just won't get as many responses, you know.
Well, you just do a new poll, like just do something new.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I know, but I'm like people won't be as
this was super fun.
This is a cool thing to watch.
Yeah. So next time we'll have to do like best husbando instead of sexiest ruler, so we can see what the guys are.
I was also trying to come up with like other questions. I wasn't really sure what to ask.
So
I had a good time with that. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was super fun. And it brings us to the end of our time. So as always, thank you guys so much. It has been awesome talking with you guys and hanging out. Hope you guys had awesome time getting all the packs open and everything this past weekend. Hope you pulled some really cool stuff. We really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And again, if you feel like supporting us a little bit further, you can support us on Patreon, or there's YouTube membership here where you can get access to cool emojis. Ryan, hit him with a foul salt.
I was gonna flex on him, but we can salt too.
That'll work too.
I'm all about that salt, no problem.
So I don't think it actually came through in the chat. Did you hit enter?
Oh no. I got the salt in there.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. It has been super great hanging out with you guys. And until next time, this has been Jeremy Franklin, and as always, I've been joined by Ryan Miles, Brandon Bremont, and Frank Klosser.
Just not wearing pants.
And we'll see you guys next week. So until then, class dismissed.